Hey friends, this is the Mrs. Wolfie from Our Half Acre Homestead, and today I'm going to take as much meat off of this turkey for canning, and then I'm going to make broth with what's left. So, first off, it's really quite frozen still, but it's been thawing in the porch overnight. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to try and go along this breastbone right now and get some of this out. This may not work, guys. There we go. No way, Gracie. I'm sawing at it with a really sharp knife. If it was just a little less frozen, but when it's partially frozen, it cuts so much easier. Here's my canner. Now this one's a more narrow canner, but it's taller because I'm going to be doing 2 layers of jars. Hopefully I'll get 14 pints in here. Here's my lid. It's all been broken down. When I say broken down, I mean I take the gasket out and I give it a thorough cleaning, and then I scrub all the parts of the lid and soak this in hot water. But we are canning in cold water. We're starting cold pack because the meat's partially frozen. So this canner doesn't go on until it is packed. There's my jars, my lids, my funnel, my always rag, and this is turkey. So we got to remember turkey's on the bottom. Dip my always rag in vinegar and set it right here. We've got our salt. All right, now we are raw packing this. And I'm going to try and get all the turkey in the bottom of the canner, which I probably will. I'm not shoving this in hard. I'm just kind of putting bits and pieces in because, you know what? We don't eat a whole lot. So there's a half a teaspoon of salt. I got to turn some of my jars over here to be ready to grab the funnel. Now we're raw packing. Always wipe your rims and threads with a clean damp paper towel. Get my lids down here. There's no need to debubble because we're raw packing chicken. Or this is turkey. I almost want to label them before they go in, but into the canner that goes. And we just rinse and repeat. I left some of the skin. Well, that needs to be cut. I left some of the skin on the turkey just for flavor. Keep my knife here handy. You get down in there. There's Howie working on making the roof winter ready. We need to replace, well, not replace the entire roof, just the shingles, which we wanted. He's going to replace half the shingles, the ones that are the worst, next year, and then the year after we're going to hopefully get a tin roof. Always. And 1 inch from the top. I'm going to wash that because I'm going to be doing chicken next. You get to know what you're doing after all these years. I washed 14 jars. And there is 7. Wash this, wash that. And here we go with the chicken. Last 2 lids. So I got 7 jars, it just wasn't 7 pints. It was 6.5. Okay, so in the bottom is my 7 pints of turkey, and here is my 6.5 pints of chicken. That's how I'm going to know the difference. And now, because we pack this cold, we have to pack them into a cold canner. All right, they've been packed into a cold canner because the meat was partially frozen. So now I'm going to put this on maximum. And we're going to wait for this to spout a steady stream of steam. As soon as it begins to spout a steady stream of steam, we will time it for 10 minutes. We will put the timer on, we will vent the canner for 10 minutes. You have to vent the canner for 10 minutes. So make sure you have the proper amount of water in the bottom. I've got the proper amount of water in the bottom of the canner with a splash of vinegar to keep my jars from clouding. And then you vent this for 10 minutes because that pushes the air out of the canner, and that when you put your weight on, which is soaking in some vinegar right now, you put your weight on, it creates the proper pressure. So don't ever skip that step. Okay, folks, that is popping a steady stream of steam. We're going to set our timer on for 10 minutes, and we're going to let it vent for 10 full minutes. Okay, our timer has gone off. But I found that if I soak my weight in vinegar because I'm on a well, and I run brush bristles in and give everything a scrub, I get a lot of the rust out, and this performs better. Now we're going to put our 10-pound weight on. Check your manufacturer's directions for weights and times. If you live 1,000 feet or more above sea level, your weights and measures may change, may be different than mine, okay? Now, as soon as we get our first vigorous jiggle, we're going to set the timer. Now, I have a 1/2 pint in here, but anything pint or smaller cans as a pint, okay? So we're going to can these. It's 1 hour and 15 minutes for pints or 1 hour and a half for quarts. So we're going to set the timer when this jiggles. We're going to set it for 75 minutes, or 1 hour and 15 minutes. And here comes our first vigorous jiggle. Now you see how this is huffing? That's and rocking? That's how we want it. But we're going to turn it down a little bit. This is going to process for 75 minutes, and then we're going to shut it off. Now do you see what this is doing? That's a gentle rocking motion with a few huffs. That's ideal. Our timer is about to go off. And when that happens, I'm going to shut this canner off, and I'm going to let it cool naturally. I'm going to let it cool enough until I can open it safely. If you jiggle the weight or take the weight off to rapid release the steam in your canner, your jars will siphon off liquid, okay? Please, there's a reason why we let things cool on their own time, okay? All right, things have cooled down enough for me to the bobbles down. This is all done. Now, even so, it's probably still, the contents are probably still quite hot, so please open the lid away from yourself just in case there's steam. Then we'll let them cool, and we'll take off the rings, and we'll label them, and into the pantry they'll go. There is 14 solid meals of turkey and chicken. 14 meals. turkey and chicken. This is the Mrs. Wolfie from Our Half Acre Homestead saying, if you got a turkey or chicken in the freezer that has to be used up, can it to save it. Take care, God bless.